Welcome to the Professors of Profit Show, your go-to source for mastering business, critical thinking, and wealth building strategies. I'm Dr. F. Scott Feil, the Professor of Profit, and each week we'll dive into how thought leaders and CEOs think, make decisions, and drive success. You'll learn how to think like a CEO, make smarter choices, and turn profit into long-term wealth. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just getting started, this show gives you the mindset and tools to level up in business and life. Let's get learning. Class is in session. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Professors of Profit Show. I'm your host, Dr. F. Scott Feil, and I've got with me today special guest John Whitney, who is going to bring an interesting side gig into play here, and that's being an extra in TV and film. John actually has a business, but does the extra stuff as a side business. So, John, thank you so much for coming on and kind of educating my audience on what it is to be an extra and what it looks like. Tell us a little bit about how you even got into that side business and that side gig.
Hi, Scott. How are you? Thanks for having me. Um, the extra thing came up it's probably nearly 12 years ago. I was actually was running my own little handyman business at the time. I was also going to school in the part-time as well. I was getting my associate's degree in construction studies. So I had a couple of things going on. And then a big movie came to town, and I think it was back in 2011 or 12. It was called Lone Ranger, and I had a couple of friends that were working on it, and they're like, "Hey, you should do this extra thing. It's just kind of good fun. The money's not great, but not bad. Plus, they feed you 3 square meals a day." So I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it in my free time, whenever I could squeeze it in." And so I got in contact with the casting agent, and I'm still good friends with her, actually. Her name's Laurie. And she's like, "Yeah, come on out for a few days." And for The Lone Ranger, it was a movie with Johnny Depp was in it.
Mm-hmm.
And Armie Hammer was in it. A couple of, there's some famous actors in it. And I said, come on. And, they come take your pictures, they get your stats, your height, they kind of entice you to growing out a beard because
Mm-hmm.
it's a Western,
Yeah.
and I never grew a beard before that, so I didn't even know if I could or not, and I kind of grew a half-ass one at the time
Yeah.
anyway, and so they kind of guided us through that whole, they take headshots of you, they get your stats, and then they're like, "Yeah, you're going to be a railroad worker." That was my part in the movie was a railroad worker, which is pretty cool. Um, so they actually done, I think it was 1 or 2 days of training on how to be a railroad worker back in the day. So we got paid extra actually for those. I think it was 2 days, and it was kind of like a boot camp for how to swing the sledgehammer and all that kind of stuff. Because it's the spikes. They call it being a spiker. I guess you're
Right. Right.
spiking the railroad ties, and there's all this rhythm. They're trying to get the rhythm shots and stuff like that. So that was really cool. That was the first day on set, and they built a town set about an hour west of town here, out in the boonies,
Yeah.
and I mean that would have been millions of dollars just to build a town set, and they built 5 miles of railroad track around it, like real railroad track,
Wow.
and that would have been a huge ticket as well for the production. I think it was Walt Disney production.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it ended up anyway, probably working on that one for about 2 to 3 months, not every day, but it lasted about 3 months, start to finish, and average 2 3 days a week, and there was even some night shots as well. So we are working some like night shifts and some crazy hours. It's probably 18-hour days too and everything like that.
Wow.
But it was great fun and met a lot of people. Still friends with a lot of people from back then. Just from that, working on that show, still friends with, I'd say, a good 5, 6, 7 people.
Yeah. So
12, 12 years later.
So the network that you build out of this side gig is pretty cool too, then, because now I'm assuming you've done more since then, right? So tell us a little bit about that then, now how that grew.
So yeah, so that was the first one. Like I said, that was a big one. And the move that work. I'll be honest with you, just finish, kind of put a ribbon on that one. Working on there, I thought it was going to be a better movie than what it was, if you know what I mean. It wasn't like a blockbuster at the movie theaters, but it was a heck of a lot of fun working on it.
Yeah.
Then I worked, after that, that was the biggest and longest thing I ever worked on. Then after that, I worked on a couple of indie movies. There was one called it's called 50 to 1. It was about a racehorse from New Mexico. So that was more like an independent movie. And it went to theater too, and DVD and everything like that. And, the trailers on YouTube. And I worked one night on that in a saloon bar just a little bit north of Albuquerque. That was the set, and that was a heck of a lot of fun working on that one. Because it was
Yeah.
like we're in a bar celebrating this horse winning. It was the local bar, from
Yeah.
the hometown. Yeah, so they had fake champagne and all kinds of stuff like that. And that was great energy that night. And that was like I said, that was a night shoot. So I think we were done at like 6 in the morning or something like that.
Wow.
So yeah, so that was great fun. And again, meeting people. And Laurie was working on that one. She was a casting agent on that one too. So that was another one. Then there was a couple of TV shows that came in through town too. I done couple of odd days on Longmire. It was a TV show, a Western TV show, modern, like a modern Western,
Hmm.
It was meant to be Wyoming, I think. That's where the location was supposed to be, and I think that went on for 5 or 6 seasons. That show, and it was pretty successful. So I worked maybe 2 or 3 days on that one, just as background. Like there was a rodeo scene, so I'm dressed as a cowboy, just sitting in the stands.
Yeah.
Um, the There was another one. Then I worked 1 or 2 days on. And honestly, it's funny. Especially when you work in one day on them, you actually don't even remember much about them. Meaning, because
Right.
you only work one day on it, you're not hugely invested. You don't even care. You don't care to even watch the movie. Watch the show,
Yeah.
which is kind of strange. There was another movie. I can't even think of the name of it I worked on. Nicolas Cage was in it,
Hmm.
and where he's running a pizza shop, and he's sponsoring like the baseball team or something like that. So that's the scene. The baseball team is eating pizza after a game.
Yeah.
And Nicholas is doing his thing, and that was a good vibe, that one. And we're just one of the parents in the background.
Yeah.
So
So tell
um,
me a little bit about the benefits of being an extra here, because it sounds like you have to have a little bit of extra time, right? But it is extra time that you have. You might as well put it
mhm.
to use. So, what are some of the benefits that you've seen so far about being an extra?
The benefits, I think if you're observing this, especially, you'll see all the different components that go into making a movie or a TV show. You'll see, what the director's doing. You'll see what lighting's doing, what the grips are doing. All the guys who build the sets, stuff like that. And you kind of just see the whole production as a whole. And you're like, it's amazing. I suppose my takeaway is amazing what goes into one second on the TV, on the
Right?
screen. What goes into that, the amount of people, time, energy, just even a second. Um, Other takeaways would be, it's I'll tell you what, you do appreciate the actor and everyone who's actually doing that for a living. Just being an extra, there's no pressure, there's you know what I mean. You're just a shadow in the background, so
Yeah.
there's no stress, there's no
Yeah.
pressure. You're getting well fed.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah. And a
you
little bit
know
of extra pocket scratch, a
a
little bit
little
of
bit
money
of
in your
little bit
pocket
of
too. For
little bit of money, but you do, if again, I'm not to say anything, but I suppose if you were interested in becoming even a producer or a director or an actor, it's not a bad little window to look through, to see,
yeah.
hey, is this something you want to do? Because like you say, you get paid to be there, and you get to see everything going on. if you're paying attention. Um, so you might, if you want to be an actor, well, it's not a bad little stepping stone. Say, hey, let me do a little bit of extra work and see if I want to do this thing. Because believe it or not, just from talking to different people, there's different types of actors. There's actors that just like doing stage plays.
Yeah.
They've no interest in the big screen or any of that. None whatsoever. So I suppose even if you're an actor, hey, you go down there on set for a few days and get paid a few bucks and get fed, and you might be able to figure out what direction you want to take.
Yeah, I love that. So
And
it's basically there's some joy and fun in it, right?
oh
You
yeah.
the network and meet a lot of great people. And then the
Hmm.
biggest takeaway that I'm hearing is that you're learning skill sets and stacking those skills and kind of grasping what all the people are doing there. So you're really kind of educating yourself on the industry.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's what's funny too. From being on a set too, there's all these little things going on. There's all you see these different groups of people. Like there might be it's someone kind of said recently, a good friend of mine, he does a lot of extra work. He said so nearly like kind of being like a high school. You got different little groups, and
Yeah.
when people are in costume, even if they're not. I mean, like I said, some of these people are only a shadow. They're taking on that persona. Like if they're dressed as a police officer, they're kind of standing straighter, and you're like, you're getting $8 an hour, just calm down a little bit. But I
Yeah.
get it. It's funny, you dress for the occasion, and it kind of takes over you a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. You
You know.
practice how you play, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's funny, and I've seen that for many different things. Like when we were on the Lone Ranger, we were the railroad workers, right? Then there was people dressed as townspeople, and you could kind of see there was a little bit of elitism going on, even just in that little circle. It's like
Yeah.
it's just funny to watch. It's like a little drama within the drama.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Nothing crazy, but just
No, but a little bit of an essence of hierarchy there that whether
yeah, yeah, yeah,
real or not.
yeah, exactly. It's
That's
just
funny.
funny.
Well,
Yeah.
John, tell me a little bit if somebody's interested in getting into maybe doing some extra work, right? What would you recommend? What does that look like? What is that process? How do you even get started?
Well, it's kind of a big thing here in New Mexico. So, if you were to go on Craigslist, or there's certain Facebook pages, casting extras wanted, stuff like that, you can get involved pretty quick. And I think there's at least 6 or 7 casting agents here in town now, so Google search or talk to someone who's doing it. People are willing to share that information because,
Yeah.
they're always looking for people. In fact, a lot of the time they can't find enough people. So there's huge opportunities for it.
So
Especially
location kind of matters too, right? You got to be in a filming area
yeah,
that helps, right?
that's what I was going to say. I suppose there is certain areas that, maybe up around Minnesota or places like that, come wintertime, there isn't much action going on for a night. Yeah. So I think again, I don't know everything about it, but from the little bit I know is, obviously you have LA, you have now Albuquerque is up there too.
Yeah. I know
Um,
Georgia's big. I came from Atlanta area
Georgia.
and The Walking Dead was filmed there and
Yeah.
Avengers movies were all filmed down there. So
Yeah,
uh,
Atlanta, Georgia's huge, getting huge too. I think there's
yeah,
another market or two that's New York, I think is big all the time.
always, yeah.
So
And
yeah, you have them big
North
markets.
Carolina, I think, had some back in the day. I know the WB did a lot of shots in North Carolina and Wilmington, that area.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd say, there's probably six good markets anyway in the country. So I think you're right. You'd have to be in one of them markets to get involved and to maintain it, right? And I'm sure it has slow seasons too.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not a huge issue because I have my own business going anyway. So
Right.
I just do it. I just do it to break the monotony these
Yeah.
these days and times. And I suppose last year I got a little bit lucky. I got a line in the show, so that was nice too.
Well, that's
Um,
big time, right? That's moving on up.
yeah, but that was probably specific. They were looking for Irish mountain man. That was that.
You
So
fit the
I,
bill, huh?
I I had yeah, and my hair was long and I had a big old beard going, so it was pretty easy,
Yeah, that's
to uh
awesome.
to fit that one. But yeah, I suppose, and I think you hear different things, it comes to, if you do too much extra work, you won't be an actor. There's little things like that go around, but I suppose I don't think there's any right way or wrong way of doing anything. But if you have the passion for it, just I think the extra thing is a good thing to start off, and.
Yeah, no, it sounds like
Can.
a lot
Yeah,
of
it
really
can.
cool benefits come from it, and then
Yeah.
it can be a springboard or a launching point for you if you're observant, you're really doing the work to pay attention and learn.
Yeah, exactly. If you're paying attention and watching what's going on and maybe asking a few questions and take direction, well, I think that's a big part of it too.
Well, and
Even
networking.
as an extra.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've got to know the right people, and it sounds like you've got a couple of people that you know now that can rely on you and come back to you over and over should they need something.
Yeah, it was funny. Last week I had a director. I think they're trying to put an independent show together, and I think I'd mentioned to you before, Scott, as we were texting, I'm a roofer, so this producer director is talking about having me on the roof in the movie, like with a line, so
That
it's just
worked out.
little things like that. Yeah, and I'm like, wow, that's so random.
Well, I work personally in healthcare, right? I'm a physical
Yeah.
therapist and professor by trade, so I could see how healthcare providers could fit the bill of a hospital show or something where there's a medical emergency or medical drama involved.
Yeah,
And
that makes
even
sense.
Scrubs, right?
Yeah, that
Awesome.
makes sense. So, yeah, there's definitely opportunities out there, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, John, what would you say? Like, what's one final thing you'd say to like somebody who is interested? I love the point of you just breaking the monotony, doing something different, right? Because a lot of
Yeah.
people do their full-time business or their job, and that's fine. It's great, right? They're making a living, but it is nice to step away and kind of do something different and do something that invigorates you and gives you a little boost of energy.
Yeah, and a lot of people on who do extra work, they're doing the same thing, They're just getting out of the office for a day, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so there's a lot of that. There's a lot of people just doing the same thing.
Yeah. And obviously there's other big opportunities too, but I saw an article the other day that Happy Gilmore 2 was filming and the line for extras was like down the block, around the corner, out the city, right? Like people all just wanted to be a part of it. And I think a lot of that is just, reputation and name and who's working on the film or the show. But just to be a part of something like that, and it's got to be cool to like see yourself every once in a while, like, oh, there I am, I was on that thing. Look, see me right over there.
That is neat, when you do get it, and it might only be a split second, but yeah, if
Yeah.
you get to see yourself, because again, on the Lone Ranger, again, 3 months of work, not every day, but a good
On
few
and on.
hours put in. I did get that 1 second shot, and that was it. You know, yeah,
Yeah, but
and I
again,
was
you got paid, you
happy
got
with that.
fed,
Yeah,
yeah, and you had a good
happy
time.
with that.
That's the thing.
Oh, great time. Yeah. We actually, at the end of that one, I don't know if they still do it or not. At the end of that show, we had an extras party
Oh, nice.
on set. Yeah, it was that. I mean, it was really cool, you know.
Yeah, so some pretty cool perks and benefits that come along with it.
Yeah.
Aside from, it's
It's
another
fun.
thing.
I think if you're going in with an open mind and, even if you want to be in the business, as long as you don't come across too desperate, I think anyone would do well.
Yeah,
I think some people, you kind of see them, some people come in a little too desperate and anxious and it doesn't work out.
sure.
Because,
Yeah, don't make it
you
more
know,
than what it is, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, it is what it is. Don't be annoying actors, stuff like that.
right.
Give people their space, and you good chance you might get talking to them anyway.
Yeah,
If they talk to you, it's fine. But some people get nervous.
yeah, yeah. Well, John, thank you so much for coming on and just sharing your experience and the life experience of being an extra and doing that as something fun on the side. Where can people reach out to you if they have follow-up questions or just want to hear about what you've been up to?
um, Golly, I don't have a huge social media thing. And I probably shouldn't give you my cell number.
No, no,
But
just email address or somewhere they can.
email address would be just john@jacksnm.com. That'd be my email address.
Great.
And I have a website for my construction business, and that's just Jack's. Jack is another name for John, jacksnm.com,
Awesome. We'll
So,
put those
yeah.
links in the show notes there so everybody can find you should they have questions. But John, thank you so much, man. This is a great conversation and something that I literally knew nothing about. So I can't bring any expertise to it, but it's great to have somebody who's doing it as a side gig and really enjoying it.
Thank you very much, Scott. I appreciate you having making time for me.
Absolutely.
Take care.
If you're tired of the constant stress and pressure of living paycheck to paycheck, burdened by debt or student loans, and you're ready to take control of your future, it's time for a change. Starting your own side business doesn't have to be risky. It can be safe, smart, and a good way to build wealth and create the life you deserve. Head over to pteducator.com to see if you're a good fit for the Professors of Profit Masterclass, where we'll teach you the strategies, mindset, and tools to turn your business dreams into reality, all while managing your day job and financial responsibilities. You don't have to do this alone. Let's start building your financial freedom together.